What is it like to travel around Switzerland during July? Is it going to be too crowded? Is it going to be too hot? Is it even going to be too expensive? Or is it maybe absolutely fine to travel during this month? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jemo and I'm a Switzerland travel expert. In this video I'm going through different categories so you can be sure whether July is going to be the right month for you to travel to Switzerland. Let's start with the first thing, and that would be the season. July, it's a summer month, and it's actually even the month at where summer is peaking. So in general, it's going to be very sunny. There are a few days where it's going to rain. Overall, it's going to be very warm. The temperature is usually above 25 degrees Celsius during the day. There are also days or even weeks it's going to be warmer than 30 degrees, but what you can be sure of is that the weather is rather dry. So unlike in tropical countries where it's humid and you're going to sweat a lot, in Switzerland it's going to be dry, and the hot temperatures, they're definitely going to feel a bit nicer. Now during the night it can be cooler, so usually it's around 18 degrees. That means you probably will have to wear closed shoes and long pants. But then sometimes also the nights, they're going to be quite warm and the temperatures will be above 20 degrees Celsius. As said, in general, July is a very sunny month, but then there are also years where it's going to rain a lot. For example, in 2021, it was raining basically the entire month and there were only a few days where we had sun. Well, then at least August was very sunny. But yes, so sometimes it is very unpredictable. You might think it's going to be very sunny, but maybe it can also be unlucky and then there will be a lot of rain. So this is very hard to foresee. But anyway, regardless of that, what I can tell you is that July in general, it's going to be the hottest month in Switzerland. And because it's so warm, you definitely should consider going for a swim out in nature. We have a lot of lakes, rivers or creeks where you can swim at. For example, you can go to Lake Lucerne, the Vierwaldstätter See, the Bodensee, Lake Constance, Lac Léman, Lake Geneva, or the Ceresio, which is Lake Lugano in English. These are really nice lakes to swim at. There are many places with beautiful beaches, and what's really cool, the water is mostly going to be warm. It's above 20 degrees Celsius. Usually I would say it's around 23. This is definitely going to be very comfortable for swimming. If you want to go a little bit more adventurous, you can also go to swim in the rivers. Myself, I really prefer swimming in the River Rhine. It's very nice. The water there in summer is between 19 to 23 degrees Celsius. There's going to be a stream, so here you really have to make sure you need to be a good swimmer to swim in the rivers, otherwise it might be too dangerous for you. And instead, then I rather would recommend you to go for swimming in the lakes. If you even want to get more adventurous, then you should definitely go to swim in the creeks in the Alps. It's really beautiful. For that, Ticino is a fantastic place. There are so many great locations where you can swim at. For example, Lavartezzo, you have this beautiful double Roman bridge. It's really nice. It's also going to be very crowded for a good reason. I really love swimming there. The water is very clear, but it is also going to be really cold. And this is something that you need to be aware of when you're going to swim up in the Alps and the creeks. The water is usually 11 to 15 degrees. This is really the maximum you can get in many of the places. But then there are also a few places in the Alps the water is going to be warmer. Over there it's going to be 15 to 19 degrees. But it's not going to get any warmer than that. If you really prefer it very warm, then definitely consider going to swim in the lakes. If you're going to swim out in the Swiss Alps, because the water is going to be very cold in most of the places, it is very important that you're entering the water slowly. Otherwise you might collapse, and this is really not something you would want to happen on a holiday. When it comes to the attractions, great news, July is really a fantastic month. All of the attractions are going to be open. It's definitely going to be the jackpot month for traveling in Switzerland. You can go to every mountaintop, you can take every cabin ride, every funicular. Yes, everything is open, all the caves, all the museums. And this is really a great thing. You'll have so many options. Even all the hiking trails are open. How cool is that? You really have endless of options. The only thing that you cannot do in July is all the attractions are only up during winter. I think that's fine. For that, you have to travel during the months where it's cold. But yes, in the summer season in July, everything is open. So that's really fantastic. Now, although everything is open, it doesn't mean that you can go everywhere. I'm going to talk about that later. It's a really important thing to bear in mind. But now the next thing would be the greens. So in July, it's the peak of summer. It's going to be very sunny, and because of that, everything is going to be lush green. So that's really fantastic. I know for many of you, it is very important to know whether Switzerland is going to be lush green. In July, that's definitely going to be the case. Well, mostly. Yes, mostly it's lush green during July, but the recent years also have shown that droughts can be more frequent, and I think this is even going to happen on a more common basis in the upcoming years. And then it's probably rather going to be possible that the landscape is not going to be lush green anymore. Usually the droughts, they start in mid-July, they last until early to mid-August, but then, as I said, it's never really predictable. Before I was mentioning it, in July everything is going to be open. This is because it's peak season. A lot of people are going to travel basically everywhere in Europe and even North America. It's going to be school holidays. Because of that, you'll have a lot of families with kids that are going to travel because that's the only time that it's possible. So that means it's going to be really crowded at certain places. A lot of people are going to go for travels, and this is also going to be the case in Switzerland. So do not expect to visit hotspots like Zermatt, Lauterbrunnen or Lucerne to be empty and serene. No, during July, these places are going to be really crowded. So this is really something you need to be prepared for. So if you really don't like it crowded, then maybe July is not the right month for you to travel, or then at least you have to shift from hotspots to less known places. For example, you can visit instead of Zermatt, you can go to Grimenz. One of my favorite villages. Zermatt is going to be very crowded for a good reason, but Grimenz, it's smaller, still very authentic, very Swiss, but there will be only little people. Even great things like suspension bridges, hiking trails, certain lakes, they're not going to be very crowded, so you may still enjoy Switzerland with little people even during very busy July. But Lauterbrunnen, Zermatt and so on, these places, really do not expect these places to be serene. If you want to travel to these places with little people, then either you'll have to come in the early morning or you'll have to travel during other months, for example, June. Because it's going to be the peak season and many people are going to be around traveling, some of the attractions they will only have limited capacity. That means that probably some of the tickets they already can be sold out. And here it's really important for you to know, do not plan everything on a very spontaneous basis. Cannot expect that last-minute tickets are always going to be available. You'll have to book these things 1-2 days or even 1 to 2 weeks or even 1 month in advance. This is really important for you to know because not every attraction can handle a lot of people. For example, the Lac Souterrain at Saint-Léonard, there's only a fixed number of people that can fit into a boat, and there's only a fixed number of boats that they have. So here it's really important. Book your slots, your tickets in advance. Yes, I know it's a little bit sad. Myself also prefer more traveling on a spontaneous basis, but this is not possible anymore during July and August because everybody's traveling and also traveling has become too cheap, so it's becoming more and more affordable for a vast majority. Now, because it's going to be peak season, it's also going to be really expensive, and this is really something that you need to bear in mind. July, everybody's traveling, and this is really the best time of the year where the entire tourism industry is going to be making the most of their revenue. So the hotels, they're going to be more expensive because the demand is very high. Also, the airplane ticket is going to be more expensive than if you travel during other months. Then even some of the attractions, trains, they're going to cost more because this is going to be the best season of the year for them to make good money. Now, if you're a budget traveler and saving costs is very important to you, then July is probably not the best month to travel. For that, I will recommend you other months to travel. At the end of this video, I'm going to present you 2 videos that are going to be less crowded and also less expensive for you to travel. By the way, here I have something really great for you to share. Many of you have asked whether I do have a map with all the places in Switzerland. Well, now I do. So here I present you my Geographic Switzerland map that is powered by Pioneer Maps. It shows all the locations at where I have produced content for. for example, Instagram photos, Reels, or even YouTube videos. By the way, the majority here are YouTube videos. And what's really great, when you click on any of these symbols, you're going to be redirected to the corresponding post. And especially for the YouTube videos, you're also going to be redirected to the right time code. I think this map is very useful, even if you already know where you want to go and especially where you want to stay. You probably don't know what are all the things you can do around there. But then when you just purchase this map and then you zoom a little bit in, you're going to see there are a lot of things that I've already shared. And what's the best about it? You only need to purchase these maps once. All the updates that happen after you purchase it, they're going to be also updating the map that you bought. So after you buy it, the map is all yours. Now let's talk about hiking. July is really great because all of the hiking trails are going to be open. It's really fantastic, but not only that, in July also the days are going to be rather long. It's going to be a lot of hours of sunlight, so you'll definitely have good conditions. It's even going to be very sunny, but as said, it can be very hot. So here it's really important, bring enough sunblock, bring something to eat, and definitely wear a hat and bring enough water. These things are really important because otherwise your hiking might not be as enjoyable as you probably thought it's going to be. Hiking is really great during July, but if you want to see a lot of snow, then probably that's not the right month for you to travel. But if you still just want to get a quick feeling of how it is to touch snow, yes, July is still fine to travel. You can go to some of the pass roads, there might be still snow. Definitely above 3,000 meters, there's going to be a lot of snow. So if you go to Zermatt, for example, the Drought or the Kleinmatterhorn, there's still going to be a lot of snow, you can even touch it. But if it's really important for you to see the entire landscape covered in snow, July is definitely the wrong month. By the way, even in July, you still can go for skiing. We call it summer skiing. It's really nice, you'll have a lot of sun and especially a lot of daylight. You can go for skiing in places like Saas-Fee, Zermatt and Mount Titlis. These places, they're located on higher altitudes. Over there, the snow is still quite persistent during summer. I think in the next few years, it's still possible to ski. I would say after 10 to 15 years, it's going to be finished. So if you really want to try out summer skiing, then better travel now than later, because who knows when this is going to be not possible anymore. The pass roads, that's one of my favorite attractions in Switzerland. In July, all of them are going to be open. It's really cool. So for those who don't know what is a pass road, it's a road that takes you from one valley to the other one. You'll have to go up and then again down the mountain. Usually it's a serpent road. It's taking you through some of the most beautiful landscapes in all of Switzerland. These you can actually only see on the pass roads. This is really fantastic. What's really great about the pass roads, it's absolutely free for traveling. You'll only have to pay for the car that you're renting, or if you own the car, then at least only for the fuel, but there's no special entrance fee. Even if you're going to take a public bus, you don't have to pay an extra surcharge. And by the way, public bus, there's a limited schedule, so there are usually 2 to 4 buses, in some places maybe even 6, but these are only on limited times. If you want to travel the pass roads on any time in July, then definitely consider taking a car, because here it's definitely going to be more flexible. And what's also really great, should you want to travel the pass roads by car, you can stop at any place that you want, should you want to take some great pictures and videos. Now let's talk about culture. In July, not a lot is going to happen. We're going to have like typical summer festivals, like dance festivals, street food festivals, but then something that is more on the traditional side. For example, in the city of Schaffhausen, up on the fortress Munot, every Saturday you're going to have the Munot Ball, except on one of the Saturdays. And the Munot Ball, it's going to be something really impressive. You're going to have this dance around the circle, which is called Quadrille. For that, you, by the way, will have to pay entrance fee. Then the most important thing I want to share with you is on 31st of July is going to be already the fireworks for the National Day of Switzerland. That is going to happen on 1st of August. But at the Waterfalls, because there are usually going to be many people, they shifted the fireworks to 31st of July. There is also going to be a lot of shows with airplanes and other military gear. This is really cool. The flight show is going to take a few hours. the fireworks at the very end that takes 20 minutes, and the best of the best, you don't even have to pay anything. How cool is that? In so-called expensive Switzerland, where everybody is complaining things are so pricey, a show like that is for free. Now, the waterfalls in July, they're still going to be powerful. It's a great month to travel to see waterfalls, but some of these waterfalls, they can be quite crowded. Now, places like the Rhine Falls, Kiesbach Falls, Trümmerbach Falls, Staubbach Falls, they're going to be very crowded, but then there's still going to be a lot of water, unless if there's a drought. Well, then it's going to be a little bit different, but what I can tell you, which waterfalls always have water during all year are the Trümmerbach Falls and the Rhine Falls, because they're just so powerful that there's never going to be no water. As you can see, it's still great to travel around Switzerland during July. Yes, it's going to be more crowded, it's going to be more expensive, but then there's so many other benefits that are going to compensate for that. Now, if you want to know how to travel around Switzerland during June, then I'm going to see in this video. Otherwise, if you're more interested in visiting this country during any other month, then I'm going to see you over there.